The crypto world is about to be explosive. Something massive is about to happen in the crypto world. I saw a vision where Donald Trump announced a historic crypto deal for the United States that sent XRP, Solana, and Ethereum straight to the moon. The moment he spoke, the markets went wild, but heaven was already ahead of it. Before we get into the headlines, we're going to have some stuff to talk about. So stick with me here because we have a lot. I went with the old outdate Fireline intro. All right, before we get into this, we have some stuff to talk about. All right, so let's get into it. First of all, check out, let me stroll across here our information. You can partner with us. We will not be having a monthly, our weekly partner meeting tonight because Brandy and I will be at a gala for Options Pregnancy Center. And some exciting things are happening there, but we won't be here because we have to leave here at 5. I believe it's out past Little Rock somewhere, maybe in Hot Springs. So it's about an hour drive to get there, 2 hours of sitting there, and then another hour drive back. So we won't be home until late. So we won't be doing the partner meeting tonight. And there's that. All right. However, you can go to Brandy's Etsy, which is Peace-Filled Designs, or just type up Brandy Cunningham, Peace-Filled Design, Etsy's, whatever, and that should come up. And get yourself a blanket, some not candles, earrings she makes. She makes her own cups. Literally, she makes the cups, the designs, all of it. She does all of that. She makes her own homemade, handmade soaps. Go get some of those. And there's all kinds of stuff she has on there, our books and stuff, so go check that out. Also, we have an animal sanctuary called Shalom Sanctuary. Nothing missing, nothing broken, just wholeness. That's what Shalom represents. Not just peace. It's complete and total wholeness, and it's complete peace. It's the opposite of anxiety, all right? And so we rescue dogs, and we rehab them, and we take them through our basic obedience training, crate training, kennel training. We socialize them around other dogs. We do aggression management, groom them. We take care of our dogs. We bathe them so they don't stink. We take care of our home and our kennels and our runs, etc., so that the dogs are like, you go to a regular shelter or a rescue or a pound and you get a dog and they smell terrible. Not our dogs. We don't do that. We want these dogs to have a decent life, and we're not just trying to save them and get them out and save them and get them out as fast as we can. We rehabilitate these dogs and we give them a second chance and sometimes a last chance. Like, we have some dogs here, they can't go anywhere else, and they're going to stay here forever. Some of them we thought they couldn't go anywhere else and they would have to stay here forever, and they've just fully rehabilitated. And so we have Louis. If you want a small dog from us, he's completely trained, potty trained, house trained. He just wants to sit on your lap and lick your hand. So you just have to get him to stop doing that. But he's super sweet. He's an Augie, which is a mini Australian, a mini Aussie mixed with a Corgi. So he's got a Corgi body and a Corgi butt and a Corgi head, but he's got little floppy Aussie ears. And he's just awesome. He's my favorite dog. We've had him for about 3 years now. We actually rescued him. His nails were overgrown. His ears were disgusting. He had fleas and ticks, and he was just outside in the mud in this tiny little fence. Nasty. So we saved him. So you can see that Shalom Sanctuary is on experttraining.org. Also, if you want to donate to help us with that, all of that comes from us. It's Robin and Brandy sponsored. So, and we do all the training and everything for the dogs. And also, while you're there, experttraining.org, you can get yourself a consultation with Brandy on the phone and find out how we can help you meet the needs of your dog and train them. It doesn't matter from 5 months old to the last stages of life. We can train your dog. It doesn't matter how old they are. It matters how young they are, because until they're at 5 months, they don't really understand consequence for actions. But, you know, we've trained dogs that were 14, 15, 16 years old. We've trained dogs that are 5 months old and everywhere in between. All kinds, all breeds, everything. You think you can't train a husky? We can train a husky. You know what's actually a hard dog to train? Beagle. We train a beagle. We've trained multiple beagles. At this point, we have 6 right here, right now. So check that out. Of course, you can always donate, firesidegrace.com, all that stuff. Just trying to give people time to sign on. and stay till the end, because all of the crypto stuff is at the end. I'm not just talking about a little bit of crypto stuff. There's like 3 or 4 things I have to talk about, right? And I'll start with some crypto stuff here. And of course, remember to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because I know 1 out of 4 of y'all are not subscribed. So if you all subscribe, we'll have some growth. Like, we had 500 subscribers or 1,000 subscribers last month. We had 1,000 subscribers the month before that. And I must have posted something that YouTube didn't like, or like they try and teach you to say the algorithm didn't like, instead of saying algorithm, the people didn't like. And we only got 46 more subscribers. For the last 28 days, we only got 46 subscribers. Does that seem weird to you? Like, we'll get 1,000 subscribers, we'll get another 1,000 subscribers, we'll get another 1,000 subscribers. All of a sudden, we get 46 subscribers. I'm putting out the same exact content, basically, except changing it up. So it's not, it's not the same stuff, but I haven't changed anything. You know what I'm saying? And somehow we're not getting 1,000 subscribers. So that doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense, but whatever. All right, let's get into the headline, shall we? All right. I saw a vision of Donald Trump this morning while I was praying. Actually, I started praying last night at about midnight, and I was praying until about 11 o'clock in the afternoon. Actually, I was praying straight up until about 1 o'clock. I was even praying while we took our son to occupational therapy, and I was praying through that the whole time also. So really, I've been praying for about 12 to 13 hours here. So I saw this at around midnight, and I saw a vision of Donald Trump, and he was just announcing a massive deal for the United States revolving around crypto. And I'm going to tell you this, like, I've heard the buzz, I've heard the rumors. If you're in the crypto market, you can't not have heard it. And even Putin has said something like he's planning to use crypto to pay off the $31 trillion debt. That's leaked information. That's not what they're telling you. That's what they're leaving out. That's leaked information. That is exactly what's going to happen. I was praying about it. The Lord showed me that that would happen. And he's going to be using XRP and Solana and Ethereum to help pay that off. And I think even Cardano will be involved in that. And it's going to be within the next, listen, this probably sounds crazy. I think it's going to be within the next 2 years, but I think it's going to be within his presidency. So anywhere between now and the next 4 years. So between now and, what's it, 2025? Between now and 2028, 2029. So that's just something to try and wrap your head around. It's just crazy. So that's what I saw. All right, now, this is what the Lord was telling me. Despite what it will look like between Russia and the Ukraine, Russia is going to back down, but they do have strong demands that are going to be met. And, they're asking for a lot. And Trump thinks it's a bunch of bull crap. And like, some of it's all back out. You can't be involved with the Ukraine. You can't be there. You can't do this, that. No giving them support or weapons or anything. And he's like, no, I'm not going to let you have that land. Think about this. Ukraine became a country in what, 1991? So the Ukraine has not been a country for a very long time. It was part of Russia in the first place. That's kind of like if Alaska seceded from the United States and became its own country. And we're like, well, we kind of have a law that you can't do that. And it took us 30 years to say we're going to take it back. But that's not what happened with Ukraine. They were part of the USSR. So technically they were part of the Russian Federation. But that's something that we're going to see Putin trying to push for here. But anyway, continuing on here, Zelensky's going to have a change of heart and push for a ceasefire at all costs. So I think that our prayers have been answered. But I saw that he was going to feel that the threat of nuclear war was very real. And, instead of just asking for nukes so that we could nuke Russia, so that Ukraine could nuke Russia, if Russia nuked us, that they think that would give them leverage. I wouldn't give Zelensky a nuclear missile if my life depended on it, because I have a feeling that he would use it in a heartbeat. I don't think he would just threaten. I think he would launch that thing and he would start a catastrophe. Okay. And so I saw that he actually didn't want that. And so maybe we just need to pray about that. We need to pray into him the fear of nuclear weapons, the fear of the use of nuclear weapons, the fear of the judgment of God, the fear of the wrath of God. And that he will move and bring an end to the war from that fear. Not that it paralyzes him, but that it, he actually pushes for an end. And so I saw that he would actually become legitimately concerned about that and want a ceasefire. So, yes, I do believe that means our prayers worked. I think that opens us up for more room to pray as well, because it gives us an idea of what's happening. And I don't feel the release to stop interceding for that. I also saw in a shocking move that China was going to distance itself from Russia during this Ukraine negotiation. Not forever, not for everything, but at least a little bit. And I don't know exactly what goes on, but I saw that there would be a trade deal that was made with Trump that would benefit China, and China would back away for a little bit and be like, this could really be great for us in the long run. We want to be a part of that. And they would back away from Russia, not denounce them, not renounce them, not renege on any of their negotiations or trade deals or compacts or whatever they have, but that they would back up because of that trade deal. So that's something that we need to pray about also. And that turns out to be kind of a good thing for us and opens up the doors for America for a little bit. But I don't get me wrong. I don't think that means China will stop being our enemy. I think they believe that they're going to have something so great that it's going to set them up in the future to be able to take out America, and then it's going to bite us in the butt in the long run. But we can pray that doesn't happen, okay? And so the next part, what I'm going to say to you is probably going to sound a little bit contradictory to what I was saying about. Anyway, I don't think it's actually contradictory. When I was praying, I felt like it was contradictory, but I saw Trump starting to speak to European Union leaders and coordinating preparations for retaliation from Putin. I felt like they were very afraid. Now, this is what I think. This is going to sound a little contradictory to what I said before about China backing off and backing out of helping Russia. Now, here's the in-between of what I think is going to happen, because the Lord gives me things, and he doesn't always give them to me in order. I don't know, why he does it the way he does it. I don't question his order. I don't rearrange it. I put it there the way that he gave it to me, and I leave it at that, okay? So I was seeing while I was praying that Trump would start to speak to the EU, and he would start coordinating preparations for retaliation in case Putin or China decided that they were going to full on go to war and declare this as war and ask for and start trying to attack America, Alaska, Hawaii, the coast. They have nuclear submarines within 50 miles of our coast, in some cases, or some places even closer. They don't need to be very close to fire a missile. Now, we could shut it down, obviously. We have the stuff to be able to stop that. I'm not trying to fearmonger or anything, but we don't want to have a war in Europe. And as the pressure starts to mount, I was seeing that it would appear as though that the people in Europe would be pushing for peace at a greater level. And I saw a fear in the European people of being engulfed in another war that was gripping their hearts. And they were thinking about their relatives and their professors and how they would remind them of what the war was like and how hard it was and how many people were lost and how much destruction there was. And, that if there was another war that involved Europe, that would be the worst thing that could possibly happen, not just for Europe, but for the world. And it would be far worse than anything else that they have ever seen or felt. And so as I was praying, I was seeing that protests would rise up where people are protesting Russia and Ukraine and calling for peace, but through violent protests. And now I say violent protests. Violent in Europe is slightly different than violent in America. In America, they start shooting people and burning down buildings and stuff. I don't really see that stuff going on in Europe so much anymore, but it used to be the case. They got smart and they took away guns because they knew the same reason that communists take away guns. They know that they're going to become a dictatorship, and they say, oh, well, you're not safe. You're not safe. Well, guess what? Our government hasn't become a complete and total dictatorship because we have guns. Because we have the Constitution. And that's why they hate the Constitution and they want to get rid of it. Go America. I love the Constitution. I love the Second Amendment. I love owning guns. I love having 18 acres where I can shoot my gun in the woods. I love that I can go out and feel safe if somebody starts to shoot a place up. And people be like, oh, well, and you don't have to worry about that in the EU because you can't have a gun. And if you do, you're going to get arrested. But does that stop people from making bombs or just randomly killing people with knives? Like, if a criminal wants to do something criminal, they're going to. And think about this. Our shootings that happen, usually there's like 4, 5, 6 people that are hurt. Sometimes it's less than that. And then in the EU, people are getting slashed at the same amount of people are getting slashed close up and personal. You know, having their face cut, their hands cut, they're, you know, murdered in the streets, etc. So I don't think taking away guns is the answer. And I'll stand on that because I'm American, you know. So sorry about you. But anyway, back when Europe did have guns, it turned out bad. It's turned out bad multiple times. Maybe they just can't handle it. Maybe you just got to be raised in a society where you have guns so you can learn how to use them. I don't know. Just keep my mouth shut. It sounds bad. Anyway, now I saw protests rising up where people were protesting in Russia, and they were protesting the Ukraine, calling for peace in Russia. And I saw the government putting a crackdown on it. So that's something that we need to pray about. Now, ultimately, like I said, all of this is just how we pray on the in-between, why I don't feel the release. But I know that ultimately this is going to come to an end, but I don't feel like we should stop praying. I feel like we need to continue to pray. I don't believe that we are going to go to war with Russia yet. I think there is a time in the future that that will happen, but I do believe that all of this is in preparation for the next 5 years, like I said. And I was seeing while I was praying that the Lord was using this time to really show the world, hey, we need to do something about this. We need to go on a global nuclear disarmament quest, or at least come up with better options for stopping nukes before people are hurt, before bad things happen, before the world is destroyed. And we need to work on that in a greater capacity. So the Lord is using this to set us up for that in the near future. So that's something to pray about and think about as well. Let's see. All right. So here is the crypto stuff. Thank you for all of you who have been watching. Right now it's 159 people. So here's the crypto stuff. I was praying and I saw Bitcoin going down to 107K, but I also saw it going up to over 129K very soon. Now, I don't know the order of that. I don't know if it's going to shoot up real quick like right now, or if it's going to slowly go down and then go back up. I don't know, you know. Like, is it going to pull back and then launch like a catapult? I didn't ask the Lord the order or the timing. I never do. And that's funny because, you know, a lot of people will come along and say, you said this was going to do this and that didn't happen. It did the exact opposite. I'm like, well, wait a week or two or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, you know. There's things that I said in 2021 that didn't happen until 2023 or 2024. There's things I said in 2025 that happened a week later. I don't know the timing. I don't try and figure it out. I feel like trying to figure out timing of things just because I give very specific words, but the timing I feel like is a matter of ego. And I've actually learned that if you keep your ego out of it and you don't have a desire to just promote yourself or your own agenda, that you'll be more accurate. Like when I look at things, I look at things through the perception of or perspective of a dream interpreter. As a dream interpreter, I don't want any background information about your dream, about the people in your dream, none of it. I don't care about any of that. The dream will speak for itself. It's the same thing with the prophecy. I will give the prophetic word the way I see it. I can hone in. I could get more specific. I can really focus on something and really muscle out the details. But the reason I don't do that is because I'm afraid that that would be bordering on what people do with astral projection through Project Paperclip or Project Grow Flame. And with their, you know, those CIA psychic spies that they use, you know, etc. I don't want to cross that boundary. So I just pray in tongues and let the Lord tell me what he's going to tell me without trying to peer into it, gaze, go deeper, and really push that boundary. So that's why I don't look for timing. I don't really get too much into the specifics. And if there's going to be something, I ask the Lord. And I let him speak to me, okay? Now, I also saw XRP was going to go over $2.79. I think that's really great. I don't know where it's hovering at right now. That's only like a 10-cent gain. But let me tell you this. I did see it going down to about $2.15 as well, which I don't have written down, but I remember it. So you're going to want to pay attention to that. You're going to watch that. You're going to want to watch that and just be ready. Now, I have a feeling like the Lord's saying that 215 XRP is going to be on one platform, and it might be like a spike, flash crash kind of deal, but I don't know 100% sure on that. So that's just what I was picking up right now while I was telling you this. I also saw Solana going over $240 real soon. It was real quick. So that's what I wanted to share with you. That's all for the headline. So if this resonates in your spirit, make sure you subscribe, share this with somebody who needs to hear it, get the word out there, and keep standing with us in prayer. And remember, this is the beginning of the shaking. It's not the end. It's just the beginning. So we really need to pay attention and be aware. And I've been hearing this all day today, and then I'm going to go to the comment section and read your comments and stuff. But I've been hearing this basically all day today, is that it's going to be a December to remember. And I know I don't like when people give those generic things. Something huge is coming in December. I don't know why. I don't know what, but I feel like it's going to be something that really puts a positive twist on Christmas for us here in America. I don't know what. I don't know why. I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't bring it up unless I have more details, but that's what I'm seeing. So we are trying to start our own church. So keep us in your prayers for that. We're looking for a place. We're wanting to sell off the cattle and the goats and stuff, and try and give people back their money that they paid for these cattle. We lost a cow, just up and disappeared. We've lost a bunch of goats attacked by some predator out here. Brandy saw a lynx or a bobcat in the road not too long ago. Maybe it was a mountain lion. She said it was big, like a dog, like the size of a dog, but it was a cat. And it jumped straight up like 4 or 5 feet in the air, something like that, and took off across the road. So we think we have some sort of big predator here. We definitely have a roadrunner. We see this roadrunner down the road here all the time. All right, so let's take a look at the comment section here. Thanks, y'all, for being here. As you can see, I'm really tired. I didn't go to sleep until very, very early this morning, and then I got up at 6 o'clock. So, and then I don't get to go to bed early. So let's take a look here. We got Andy WC1Ye from Australia. G'day. Oh, we have Rob Torres in Arizona. Awesome. We got Crypto Notebook. You guys doing better? I would like to say we're doing better. It's this time of the month is always kind of difficult for us because we have a lot of expenses at this time of the month. It's about the first of the month. Our mortgage plus our renter's insurance and our homeowner's insurance and everything is just a little bit under $3,000, which I know it's expensive. It's because we have a lot of land. We have the animal shelter. We have this, we've got our car insurance that's due, the car payments that are due, all this stuff. Plus we have to pay our employees and everything. And so, you think, oh, wow, this, these guys have a lot of revenue coming in, but it seems like they're always behind. But it's because we employ people, and we absolutely refuse to fire unless a person's just not doing their job. But we absolutely refuse to fire because we believe that the Lord will provide. So in a sense, yes, we're doing all right, but it's still, it's still tight. So we got CJ, we got Pam Gomez from Florida. Hello. We'll be in Florida in December. Brandy 1, everything's paid. Stay at a resort for 7 days in Orlando, Florida in sometime in December. So cool, huh? Let's see. Rob Torres. Wow. Let's see. Put God first 777. Blessings from Germany. Well, I'm glad that you're here. Let's see. We got anything about XCN? No. Let me pray about it real quick. Well, I see it's going to go, I believe it's going to go down further. You're going to see it go down to 0.0075, and I believe you'll see it go down to like 0.0069 or even a little bit lower than that, but it is going to go back up over a penny. It's going to sit there around the penny marker for a while, and then it's going to go over 15 cents and 17 cents. And then eventually it's going to take off to $1. Let's see. The Get Sayray 316 says, I can't look at my children in the eyes and tell them I gave in to dictators or commies. That's America. That's an American talking right there. I will never allow any government person to disarm me. Agreed. That, like, we have the saying here in America, come take them. We are not kidding about that. You would see America, the gun-owning citizens that aren't willing to give up their guns, take off into the mountains, start their own countries, and form, we become the Wolverines, before we give up our guns. So it's good luck, because it's worked good for us for 200 years and made us the most powerful country in the world. So criminals will always have guns. Yes. I mean, let's see. I'm in Memphis. Ain't no way I'm leaving home without my piece. Yeah, for real. Memphis is like, it's one of the highest rated crime, one of the highest rated little cities for crime. It's just crazy to think that, right? Like, you think in the South, crime's not that bad compared to like living in New York City or Syracuse or something. My friend, we were in Syracuse. He was out drinking with his friends at a bar. I don't drink, but he didn't have that conviction as a Christian, so he was out, and they were walking from the bar, walking down the street, and somebody came running past him. Another person was chasing him. He turned around and yelled at the guy, and the guy pulled out a gun and shot him and killed him right there on the street in front of him, then turned around and took off so nobody would catch him. They ended up catching him. My friend's like, I don't know if I talk to the cops or what. I'm like, yeah, you do. Bro, you watch a dude get murdered. Yeah, you have to. So, yeah, there are dangers. But, in New York, you're not allowed to carry a gun with you unless you have a concealed carry license and a pistol permit. So criminals have the guns and not the law-abiding citizens. Just saying. CJ, in a galaxy far, far away. Hey, man. There were big protests in St. Petersburg. Well, that's cool. I didn't know that. I don't follow the news, actually. So let's see. Before the world began, the Gets, we was praying north at the Shell station. Only white guys there. Bros walk in the gas station, puts clip and gun on a counter, holding pants up with his other hand like it ain't no thing. That's true. That's well, you shouldn't do that. That you could get a what's it called when you're just waving your gun around there? What is it called? I can't remember now, but it's like I can't remember. Somebody remind me. When you're just waving your gun around, it's against the law. You get yourself at least a misdemeanor from it. But anyway, yeah, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't bring it out at all. If it's open carry, it's open carry. But if you pull out a gun and put it on the counter, I'm going to assume it's loaded and you're threatening me. So I'm just saying, and that's what most people would assume. Like, yeah. How about if you live in the country? Let's see. Before the world began. Thanks, Robin. Bless you, Jesus. Through. Amen. Hi, Robin. You mentioned in your last live stream you saw Bitcoin at 96K. Do you still feel that? Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to drop like that. It's probably going to be a flash crash on another crypto platform. I don't think it's going to be a big thing because Lord didn't give me any warning that it was going to be some big, massive thing that really affected everybody. I think it's just a flash crash down on like Kraken or something like that. Let's see. Praise God. Christmas surprise. Amen. Tariff checks in December. I don't know. Maybe. So we discovered that because the tariffs are so high on Canada, for us to send things to Canada, for us to send a blanket to Canada, the blanket's $100-something. The amount that it would cost us to send it because of the tariffs is over $150. Is that crazy? So we will do it. I mean, we will do it. That's how ministry works. We care more about people. Let's see. Jaguar. It wasn't a Jaguar. We don't have Jaguars here. Robin, I'm scared, man. Mandani is about to cheat New York City. Well, we will continue to pray about that. Lord, I pray you stop him. Stop that city from becoming communist in Jesus' name. And get the Christians out of there. Get the Christians out of there now so that they don't have to live under that. Hi, thanks for that. God bless you and your family. Amen, Sarita. Hi, blessings from Dubai. Did you hear anything about Dubai? I haven't heard anything about the UAE in a while. I'll pray though. I will pray. Sarita from Florida. Awesome. Hi from Croatia. Amen. Hey, Zoran Thomas. I'm glad you're here. Any sense of sleeper cell activations to pray against? Yes. We do need to pray about that, specifically Iranian sleeper cells here. Okay. How low will Polkadot go? I don't know. I'll pray about that also. When you brandishing a weapon, that's it. Brandishing a weapon. Your thing auto-corrected to radish. Just gonna pull that up there. When you radish a weapon, it ain't good. It's called brandishing, right? Thank you. That triggered my memory. Brandishing, right? Okay. Drawing a deadly weapon, sort of. Yeah, brandishing is what it's called. America, Europe, or Asia, we already covered that. The U.S. has about 12 times more gun deaths, 4 to 7 times higher homicide rates, and around 60 times more shootings than Europe. Yeah, it's really easy to have higher statistics like that when we have guns and you don't. It's like saying the Civil War had the most American casualties of war than any other war in that 100-year time frame. Yeah, because we were killing each other. Of course we had the highest casualties. So it's like, yeah, we have guns. You don't. So of course our gun rates are going to be higher. To me, that's a stupid statistic. You know, it's like, oh, they've got a higher crime rate with guns than ours. Yeah, we have guns and you don't. We've also won more wars. Just saying. All right. Lord, protect your children in New York City. Let's see. Will silver go down? I do think it's going to go down like $30 or $40 a little bit, but it's not going to go down to the point where it's like a crash. It's going to continue to go up. Like precious metal, you know, gold, silver, and rare earth metals, they're gonna continue to go up. So there's that. All right, well, that's all for today. Love you guys. Be blessed, and I will see you again real soon. Hopefully, I didn't offend a bunch of people running my mouth so much about how proud I am to be an American. All right, love you guys. Be blessed, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Brandy and I will be teaching together. All right, bye, guys.